certain degree of the responsibility and the blame for some of the problems we've got. President Obama, when he took the oath of office on January 20th, took over a very sick economy. The country had a lot of challenges. That said, one of the reasons that Nancy Pelosi is the speaker, in my view, is not because that the American people, certainly not the folks in this area, believe that the government should be more involved and bigger and spend more of your tax dollars and borrow more money. It's because when the Republicans, and I am one, were in charge, we didn't do as good as we should have done. I admit to that, and I assume my share of the responsibility for that. But I also want to say one of the biggest disappointments, Eric Holder is the Attorney General. His wife is from Mobile. I think he's an honorable man. But I was extremely disappointed when I heard the Attorney General, right after the new president was sworn in, say that he was going to consider prosecuting the attorneys representing the Bush administration when in the days after 9/11, I don't fault George Bush at all. In fact, I'm grateful to God that we had a president that wanted to make sure we weren't attacked again. Some of the money we spent, and we spent too much, but a lot of what we spent was on rebuilding our national defense and on building a homeland security so we didn't have another terrorist attack. Now, I mentioned, you referenced the newsletter, and I'm glad you did, because I'm not trying to at all suggest that conservatives, conservative Democrats, Republicans, look, I know Washington County politics not as well as you do, but I grew up in Wilcox County. We had more yellow dog Democrats. My father was one. He was the probate judge in Wilcox County. And when I talk about my Democratic friends in Washington County, you don't agree with Nancy Pelosi any more than my Republican friends do. There's a big difference between an Alabama Democrat and a Washington, D.C. and a San Francisco Democrat. But when I said in the newsletter that there was nothing that we could do, we Republicans, to pass a bill or to keep a bad bill from being passed, here's the reason I said that. Erica, can you help me? This is the House of Representatives. This is the Senate. There are 435 members of Congress. There's one House member that is a vacancy. There are 100 senators. We have 178. That's the red. We have 178 Republicans. You have to have 218 to pass a bill. Now, we've got some students here who are better at math than I am. 40. But we are 40 seats away. Thank you. What grade are you in? We are 40 seats away. If I got every Republican voted against the stimulus bill, that was not enough to keep it from passing. So my point is that alone, you put that down now, thank you. Alone, there's nothing that Republicans can do to pass a bill, but if the American people do as they are doing, then there's a lot we can all do. And we are Americans first. Our birth certificate doesn't say Republican or Democrat, it says we're Americans. And so we need to be thinking as a nation, how do we solve some of these problems, some of which we inherited, some of which we're creating. The spending that is going on right now is unbelievable. Where's the chart that shows all the presidents? This is mind-boggling, folks. All the presidents, from George Washington to George W. Bush, and I've already said George Bush spent too much money, accumulated $5.8 trillion in debt. That's 43 presidents. Based on this president's budget, we're looking at $8.7 trillion that he's spent all the same months. This is his number. These are his budgets. So you're right that we all share some of the responsibility on this. But when I said that I can't stop the health care bill from passing, I can't. I can go on this floor every week and speak out. I get 1 minute a day. But I can do that. But that won't keep it from passing. But going to Millry, Alabama, and having a standing room on the crowd, and going to Dauphin Island and having 150, 200, 250 people. When I go back to Washington and I share with my colleagues, and what happened yesterday? Gene Taylor, the congressman from Mississippi, he had almost 1,000 people. We're not alone. But what we need to do is to hear from all of you, and that's what we're doing. And I think that's a beautiful example of democracy at work.
Yeah, and it's a follow-up statement That's the reason I quoted that, is because that's what we expect the representatives and the senators to do, to go back and tell the other side and the people who are in the center. If you intend to keep your job, then you're going to have to vote with the majority of the people that sent you, not the party.
I couldn't agree with you more. You mentioned three other things very quickly. Illegal immigrants. Shame on us. President Bush tried to bring an immigration bill up to the floor. He got booed off the stage. People said he was trying to grant amnesty to all of these people. He was not. But that's the way it was portrayed in the news media. And he was under low approval ratings, and you got to pick and choose your battles. And I think he realized that this was not one that he could win. But President Obama just the other day said that he is not willing to take the political capital to do immigration reform until after healthcare reform is over. Healthcare reform, they wanted to have this vote before August. That's what the Speaker of the House wanted to do. And we raised enough sand to say, no, we're going to let the American people speak out. And thank goodness we did. You also mentioned about tax reduction. There are things about my voting record you can be critical of, and you might have a lot of things about it that you are. I've never voted for a tax increase, and I don't intend to start, because I think the government is too big and we spend too much. And I think the more money you give the government, the more it will spend. So I agree with you 100%. We need to reduce taxes, but right now, when the Bush tax cuts expire next year, the President has said they will, and if this plan goes into place, which as an employer, it will be an 8% tax increase to pay for this. As an employee, it will be a 2% tax increase, as well as a 20% cut in Medicare. You're talking about, instead of a 50% tax cut rate, which is basically, if you're in a county, basically we're paying about 50%. You're looking at closer to 60 to 70%. I don't want to give the federal government that much money. But thank you for the questions. Very much.
I know you can't comment on this, but in the group picture is that the Democrats will want to use this system just to buy vote to the illegal people instead of federal.
I personally think this is a true conviction that the President and the Speaker and others have, and that is that, the President said when he was running for President last year that he does believe that we should have a single-payer system. Speaker Pelosi has never hidden the fact that she really wants the government to be, she wants basically everyone to be on a Medicare-type program. Because I really think that's their agenda, is to put private health insurance out of business and to alter the relationship you have where you depend on the government for more and more services.
Totally is a form of government.
It is.
Nothing but to do away with democracy. They're going to control everything.
That's my personal feeling. Is
they're going to tell you what you can do in your house, you can't do in your house.
Well, and let me show you the environmental legislation. Real quick one. Someone asked me at the waiver meeting about the cap and trade bill. I voted against that as well. I'm not against a clean environment. I want a clean environment. I'm not against making us less dependent on foreign countries.